Okay, my friends, hello. Can you hear me? Welcome to the Monday live stream here at the, Garden Like a Viking headquarters, but also the Just Live Like a Viking headquarters. So let me know where you're at and where you're from and how you're doing today. Let me know in the comments if you guys got any kind of questions about anything. We're going to go over a couple of things. I know we said that we would start with some breathing, but we will get to that in future ones. I think we will start with a few minutes of breathing techniques. That would be wonderful while people show up and stuff. So, but today I don't think so much. So last week we had a couple of questions that I wasn't able to get to. So some people put them into the comments section. And so what we will do is we will read that right now, and then I can answer that. Okay? So a person said, and YouTube has switched to screen names, handles, instead of the actual name of your channel, which is really upsetting to me as a creator, because now I really don't know who I'm even talking to. So at a colorist 1798 said, had a question. What do you do with regrets when the mind takes you down a rabbit hole? And this is a wonderful question, my friends, because how many of us have been there? So it is multifaceted. And the first thing that we have to do when we go down that rabbit hole of, okay, oh man, why did I do it this way? Well, I shouldn't have done this, or I should have never said this to that person, or I should have never gone there. I should have never sold my house. I should have never broke up with that person. Oh, okay. There's a couple of things. One, we must realize that we are trapped in cyclical thinking. Okay? That's what we have to do first. And we have to realize that it's a rabbit hole, and that the mind will go over and over and over and over about something that cannot be changed. You cannot ever change the past in any way. Okay? No matter how much you think maybe you could, or maybe if you just regret it bad enough, then the past will change itself and the present moment will sort it out. It doesn't work that way. The past happened, and it's locked, it's sealed away forever. And so thinking about it over and over and over is like a sickness of the mind. And so you have to realize that's happening first, and then you have to cut that off. Now there's techniques that we can use to cut that off, of course. That's one of them. Meditations and breathing techniques and all of this kind of stuff. But the more that you practice this, the more you will be able to see within your own mind, whoa, okay, I'm thinking about this again and again and again and again. Something that cannot be changed. The past cannot be changed. The only time that the past is even real is when you are thinking about it. And that is only right now in the present moment. And so now here's the next step. So we're answering this question before I say hello to you guys. So what do you do with regrets when the mind takes you down a rabbit hole? And the first one is that we have to recognize that this is happening within the mind, and we have to pull ourselves out of that. The second thing is that we have to see clearly. We have to play the tape through over and over, and we have to see clearly that if we did not have every single experience that you have had in your life, you would not be the person that you are today. So if you did not have every experience, and I know for a lot of people, if you're not used to this, or if you don't practice self-love already, then it doesn't seem right. It seems like, no, I could have changed this, or I could have changed that, and then I would still be this exact same person. No, you wouldn't. And so if that doesn't resonate with you right now, if that's not good enough, then it's because you haven't yet come to the place of absolute unconditional self-love. When you are whole within yourself, when you love yourself completely, who you are right now, doesn't mean that every aspect of yourself is totally ideal in your mind, but you love yourself. You feel worthy. You know you are worthy of love. You are worthy of all the good stuff. Okay? When you know this in your heart, then you have absolutely zero regret. Because how could you regret something? Because if you had done something different, you wouldn't be this person you are now, that is full of wisdom and experience and love and the high vibrational energy. You wouldn't be that person. And so even the stuff that we might regret, oh, I should have never broke up with that person, or oh, I shouldn't have sold my house, oh, I should have said this or should have said that, That's not what the universe had in store for you, my friend. So it's coming to terms with that through the love of the self. And so if you're not fully whole or healed like that, if there's still parts of you that you don't love or that don't feel worthy, it's the same thing. Lack of love and a feeling of unworthy of love. So if you don't yet feel that, then make that your number one mission in life, is to complete the circle, is to feel whole and complete. And then any thought of regret will absolutely evaporate. And that's the most powerful of all. And so if you're dealing with regrets, come to the place where there is no regrets. And that's the present moment, because you are whole and perfect now. Yes. So that's my answer to that, my friend. I just wanted to address that right off the bat. So let me get to you guys, see where you're at. Val, good to see you, my friend. Says, good morning, Nate. Happy Monday. Yes, happy Monday to you too, my friend. How is the weather there? PA, hey, Nate. Yes, hello, my friend. Good to see you here from Portugal. Pam, hello, my friend, from South Africa. And Lori Sparkles, hello. She says, good morning from Northeast Utah. Nice. How's the weather there? You still got all kinds of snow on the ground and stuff? To me, most of Utah is like a windy tundra. Is that true? CLR Finishers says, salute from Trinidad and Tobago. What is your opinion on using crab shells and shrimp shells to make compost or fertilizer? Well, let us keep gardening questions to the Garden Like a Viking channel so that we can stay focused somewhat. But since you're here already, I'll go ahead and say, yes, crab shells, shrimp shells, perfect. They have a substance called chitin within them, and that is going to really help the structural rigidity of the plants. So if your plants are really kind of limp and stuff, you can make a fertilizer out of that, the crab shell, the shrimp shell, and that will really help with so many different things. So yes, wonderful fertilizer, and it breaks down really fast. Okay. Successful Garden Design. Hello, Rachel, my friend. Says, hi, everyone. I finally remembered a Monday live. Yeah, I know. Mondays are kind of tough for me, too, a little bit, just in the sense that I want to be doing so many things that I haven't done over the weekend. You know, so I'm like, okay, I got to make videos for the gardening channel. I got to come up with new content. I got to make a couple shorts. I got to do this and I got to do that. And then I got to, but it all just seems to work out. Yes. So let us see here. And Pam says, complaint is poverty of thought. That's a good way to put it. Yes, complaint is poverty of thought. Definitely. How many people focus on the external material possessions and material wealth and the outward signs of prosperity when they totally neglect the true source of prosperity and of peace and of all the good stuff, happiness from within, the mind. They totally neglect all of that. And so, yes, they can be rich in possessions, but very poor in spirit. So, Lynn Fairweather, hello, my friend. 8A Gardening and Clay, hello from Virginia. Hi, good to see you here. Nonsensical Nonsense, great name. Says hi from Florida. All right. Amy Abel, hello from North Carolina. All right, guys, we got a lot of coastals in here. Val says, weather is great, 70 degrees here in the other mile-high town of northern Arizona. Yeah, I never realized that it was a mile high, that you were that high. Ursula, hello, my friend. Good morning, Nate, and everyone around the world tuning in. Yes, we are all around the world right now. Matthias de Bruijn says, hello from the Netherlands. See, we are all around the world right now, yet we are taking this moment in the ether, sharing it completely together. I think that is really cool. And it's a really awesome element of technology, because for many years, I was really resistant to technology. And I still am in many ways, of course. There will never come a time when I'm putting the Neuralink into my brain. Absolutely not. But like when I was traveling, when there came a time, like from 2010 till 2020, something like, or till now, when the internet and all of the cell phones, smartphones really kind of exploded and all of that. Well, I was traveling for all that time, in the third world or whatever, developing world. And so I was, not in tune with any of that stuff. I was gone for the whole revolution of everyone getting a smartphone and all that stuff. And I was living way off grid in the mountains of California, for several years. So then I was really resistant to it. And I came back and I was like, I don't want anything to do with the algorithm or the internet or anything like that, you know. But I just couldn't resist it because that was not what the universe had in store for me anymore. So I just felt so compelled to like start YouTube channels and just get comfortable making videos and get comfortable sharing the thoughts and a flow of consciousness, all of that kind of stuff. And so I just had to embrace it. And it really has turned out to be a fantastic thing in life. I think that the technology can be used in a very good way. Absolutely. Even the algorithm can be used in a good way. Like, for example, my YouTube feed, I don't know about you guys, but my YouTube feed, because I have YouTube Premium, so I have no commercials ever, no advertisings. I have no television in the house, and I don't watch TV anywhere. And YouTube is about all that I would watch, and that's for like research stuff, and I get no commercials from there either. So it's really wonderful. And the algorithm is more like a friend now in the sense that it recommends to me things that I'm really interested in. So, oh, okay, oh, yes, good. So I can learn something new. So I feel like even the algorithm, it doesn't necessarily have to steer you into being, you know, complacent and sort of dumbed down. But if that's what you're prone to, then it's going to do that for sure. It's going to be TikTok videos and shorts and all kinds of just little bzz, 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 you know, stuff to fracture your mind. But if you're not into that, if you consciously direct yourself away from that, then I have experienced the algorithm can be like a helpful thing. So let's see here. Nonsensical Nonsense says, while you were in India traveling, did you come across energy healing? If so, could you speak of that? Energy healing yes, of course. Yes. There is two types of the energy healing I've come to find over all these years and experience. There is the type of energy healing that a practitioner does, and that is where they are, consciously sort of putting in an energetic frequency to manipulate the sort of energy wave field that is around us. Okay, and that is one way of energy healing, and it typically relies on a practitioner doing the healing to the receiver, and that is one technique. But then there is the deeper the other technique that is not really a technique, because it is just the full realization that everything is energy. And I know that that is heard a lot, but I mean that in a literal sense, in the sense that everything around you is not solid in any way. And if you investigate even modern science and quantum mechanics and things are confirming this more and more, but there's nothing solid to this experience, that all of this is electromagnetic pulses. And at the base level, we are swimming in an ocean of energetic potentialities that are taking form only based upon the way that they are decoded. And the decoder is the mind, is the human mind, not the brain. I don't mean the brain, like localized. I mean the mind. All of this is the mind. The mind is not centered in the brain. And this is a total reversal of the way that we have gone most of our life in thinking about that here's my brain, here's my center right here, located here, and the world is out here. And I am moving in like empty space in a world and things. But there comes a point in the energy healing where you come into full realization that there is no out there. There is only here and now. And you can never experience anything that is not here. And you'll never experience a time that is not now. And so those are the deeper, or I don't even want to say deeper, but I just want to say those are other concepts for a different kind of energy healing. And so I left this one sort of because this one encompasses everything. It encompasses everything. And but all of that being said, I don't feel I would have ever gotten to these. I would have never understood the now in the same way had I not gone through all of the experiences. You know, through all of the ashrams and the spiritual quests type things for so many times. So, yeah, it's yes, there's a lot of energy healing happening in India, definitely. So Lennox, happy Monday from South Florida, day 5 on the Master Cleanse. All right, my friend. I know that is pretty much over the hump for most people. I just completed the 10-day Master Cleanse a couple of weeks ago. Me and a number of people from the channel did, and feels fantastic. Feels absolutely fantastic. One of the things that it helped me to realize was that I live a lifestyle now that is pretty much without much need to be cleansed. You know, like I've said before, I used to live a lifestyle that really needed to be cleansed. Sort of a toxic, somewhat toxic lifestyle. And so when I did the cleanse, it would be like, whoa, all these symptoms and all this clarity and it was just so different. So now when I did it, I really hardly experienced anything different than I currently do. I already always have so much energy and I already have such clarity of thought. And I already feel so alive. And it was not always this way. It was not always this way. I had to sort of take substances to trick myself into feeling I was alive, because I was always seeking the peak experience. But this cleanse was really a beautiful colon cleanse. I can tell you that. It was just a really beautiful experience as far as that. It feels just like I went to the tune-up place and got all the oils and the filters changed in the car. You know what I mean? And so it's now running at top speed. The air filter's been cleaned, the oil's been changed, all that stuff, and now I feel like just tuned up. Yep. And let's see here. Nick Jones says, "Hi Nate, still growing veggies for my wife, but I have gone carnivore." Have you really? Full carnivore? Nice. So let me know how that goes for you. And how long have you been doing the carnivore like that? Because for me personally, I just couldn't see going completely carnivore because there's so many beautiful gifts from the earth as far as there's the potatoes and the sweet potatoes and the peas and the squash and so many things that the earth is giving forth. Also the animals though. But there was 2 years when I came back from the mountains and stuff, and I was living more with the Buddhist monks, and I was teaching meditations at the Indiana Buddhist Temple, and I was going with the monks, and we were giving seminars and things to like universities, about Buddhism and the Eightfold Path and meditation and all of these things. During those 2 years, I was pretty much 99% vegetarian. A couple of times I ate meat because I was with my family, and they sort of, they like meat. But other than that, I would never bought it or cooked it or anything like that, and it was just pure vegetarian, and that was wonderful. It was really good experience, and I felt fantastic. But then after that, after about 2 years of that, my body got a calling, and it was like just like a magnetic pull to the beef again, and to the liver, to the beef liver in particular. And so, because I am attuned to myself, as far as I have practiced over several years now, following the heart. So I can listen to the heart, which has no words, of course. It's the mind is the commentary, the words and the analytics and all of this, but the heart is a feeling. The heart is telepathic. The heart is where the energy comes from that, okay, you just know, because especially if you can speak the language of the heart, which is the feeling. And so yes. So I didn't resist it. I didn't say, well, but I'm supposed to, Buddhism teaches to not be eating, to not harm any animals and to not eat any kind of meat and all of this stuff. But I got to stick with that. But after 2 years of that, I was like, no, my heart is telling me you got to go this route. And so I knew that it wasn't any kind of like cravings for cheeseburgers and, all that stuff has left me a long time ago because I detoxed my life from all of that kind of nonsensical food. So I knew that it wasn't just cravings. There's a huge difference between what your heart is telling you and a craving, or like an emotional desire. This is very different than the knowingness of the heart. And so I felt that and I said, okay, well, for whatever reason, I need to start eating raw beef liver, which is quite a leap from being vegetarian. But I found a source, raw, grass-fed, grass-finished, pasture-raised, never any soy or grain feed, just grass, the good quality stuff. And so I found a source for that, and I started eating beef liver with a little bit of maple syrup, raw. And pretty much immediately, As soon as I mean, within days of consuming this, I felt like an increase, like I didn't even think it could get more intense, but it did. The mental clarity got more intense and just more crystal clear, and the energy became from a different place. Even when I was doing the vegetarian stuff for 2 years, I was still really depending upon the tea, the one coffee in the morning and one tea in the afternoon. I mean, and without that, it was just like, oh, no, not the energy. But after the beef liver, the raw beef liver, raw bone marrow, and bone broth, then it's now I've got energy for days. I've got energy whenever I need it, but it's a different kind of energy. It's an energy that is not like a stimulant, like oh, I can't sit still. It's an energy that is like deep within, that is like, okay, well, whatever the situation calls for, that's what I've got. So if it's if the situation calls for working 15 hours today, like I did down in Tennessee this past a month ago, 15 hours a day for 5 days in a row, not a problem. I can do it without exhaustion, no problem. But if it requires sitting and working at the computer for hours on end, I can do that as well. But also if it's just relaxing, I can do that as well. It's like a different kind of energy. So for my body, the beef and things is the right way, but also plenty of the plant materials, so there's my long-winded rant about my experience of all of that, because I think that a lot of people try to, they don't follow the heart when it comes to the diet. Maybe one, because they haven't detoxed themselves from the cravings of dead and chemical-laden food. And so they're still getting cravings, and they think that, oh, my heart is telling me I need to have these donuts or this cheese pizza or these French fries. That's what my heart is telling me. No, that's not. That's not what it is. That's what your chemical addicted body is telling you, and your mind. But so many people, they want to just say, okay, well, I'm doing the carnivore diet now, and so that's all that I can do. Or I'm doing vegetarian, so I have to only be vegetarian, even if the heart is telling you different. So go down the path. So that's the thing, my friend. Go down. If you are interested, if you're feeling the urge to experiment with something, do it 100%. That's my recommendation and my experience. If you're going to do something, in order to know it, you got to do it completely. Don't just halfway do it. Like if you want to do the carnivore, don't just do it halfway. Do it 100%. Okay, so let us see here. Someone was saying, Printer Bear says, how do you do beef liver? Raw, frozen, smoothies, dehydrated? Smoothies, no, I don't do beef liver smoothies. Nope, I just take the beef liver and it comes to me frozen in about 1 pound packages, and it comes from the place I told you, grass-fed, grass-finished, pasture-raised, all of that. They're Amish people, and so everything's very humane, and it comes to me like in 1 pound packages. So I will cut it into thirds or fourths. I'll cut it into 1/4 pound little things and put that back into the freezer. So each evening, or maybe like 3 to 5 times a week, I'll have this, and I'll remove one of the 1/4 pounds of the beef liver, and I'll let it thaw to room temperature. And I'll put it into like a container, and I'll let it thaw to room temperature. And then I will slice it up into I'll dice it up into small dices, put it into a bowl, and put a little maple syrup on it, and even a little bit of sea salt. And then I'll just take it like that. And wow, man. I mean, it puts like sushi and sashimi and all of that kind of stuff. It has nothing on raw beef liver. It's a whole different experience. And the body is just like, whoa, the mind. It's the most nutritionally dense food on the planet, liver. And so that's how I do it. Okay. Let's see here. So Rachel says, I made myself really unwell trying to go without meat. I was stubbornly thinking my body would adjust. I listen to my body now. Yes, and this can happen. This can happen. But also, you would never, so it's a huge benefit, because if you hadn't gone that way and experienced it and felt it, then you wouldn't know. You would always be like, well, maybe it is best for me to do without meat. If you just sort of halfway did it or something. No, if you do it 100% and then you're like, yeah, it's just not for me. After plenty of time, then especially then if you can reintroduce something and then feel such a change. Because each person is so different. There is not one diet. There's not the carnivore diet for one person, or I mean the carnivore diet for every human being. That's how you hear people talk with these blanket statements. Well, that's how human beings are supposed to eat. Well, okay, some. But I mean, there's also the school of thought that humans are marvels of adaptation. And so, if we could not adapt more than any other animal, then we would never have come outside of the original range, which is like around the equator. You know, we'd be eating fresh fruits. That's pretty much the original diet would be fresh fruits and maybe tubers and leaves and stuff like that, fresh, raw, everything. But if we can't, but we are marvels of adaptation. And so we learn to adapt to our environment and to adapt the environment to us. And so we create things like fire to help to soften certain meats and certain foods so that they could be more digestible. Foods that we wouldn't typically eat. You know, there's no other animals really that can eat such a wide diversity of things as the human does. So, but the primary thing, the one rule that we have to follow is that it has to be free of chemicals. This is absolutely, it has to be in as close to its natural state as possible. So I've been to cultures where people have eaten almost exclusively meat, and they're super healthy. But it was yak meat in the Khumbu region of the Himalayas, and these people walked for miles every day up and down the mountain. They got fresh mountain air. They were drinking mountain spring water. I mean, not the brand mountain spring water. I'm talking water from the spring, you know, the real deal. And they were just living good lives with each other and stuff. And so, but they existed almost exclusively on yak meat. A little bit of green thing that they could grow like during some of the summertime. But then but see, they were free of chemicals. But I've also seen cultures where there's people that have never eaten one bite of animal product their whole life. And this would be in India and stuff like that, in Sri Lanka. I experienced these people in these cultures where they never consume any animal protein, yet they are thriving. But it's fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, fresh, it's rice and it's curries. And what they both have in common, both of those extremes, is that they are natural. They are in as close to their natural state as possible, free of man-made toxic chemicals and fresh. It's not stored in a can on a shelf for months on end, or it's not processed and dehydrated and all that stuff. So, and I've seen this in so many different ways in the world and experimented with it myself. And so this, I know that the only real hard and fast rule is that it has to be natural and free of man-made chemicals. Other than that, we can survive and thrive on a wide variety of things. And each person can be very different. Rachel says, oh yeah, I always throw myself in 100%, live and learn. Yes, my friend. Let's see, Nick Jones says, we can eat plants, but they are optimal for best health. We can eat plants, but they are optimal for best health. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we can eat plants, no problem. But it's finding the right sort of balance as well, though. And it also, and now because of where we live, the modern day that we live in, we have to be cognizant of how it was grown. Because we know this, and I talk about this on the gardening channel as well, but we know that, or maybe some of us don't, but here on this channel we will know that you are what you eat. This is literally true. Your body is built of the building blocks that came from what you are eating. And so if you are eating dead, depleted, sick food laden with chemicals and devoid of nutrition, then you are going to be sick and laden with chemicals and devoid of minerals and nourishment and vitality and life. Okay? Likewise, in the same way, because my body and the plants and the soil and the animals are all one. It's all one system. And so in the same way, the plants that we are eating, if they were grown, if what went into them, if what they ate was chemicals devoid of nutrition, then they are also going to be laden with chemicals and devoid of nutrition. And then we eat that and we don't get the full nutrients anymore. You see this cycle, how it's happening? And so, and you can do just even a little bit of research and find this scientifically. They say that an apple has 1/8, I believe off the top of my head, it's 1/8 the amount of mineral composition that the same apple had in our grandparents' age. And so we would have to eat 8 times the apples to get the same amount of nourishment, vitamins and minerals and life force, energies and enzymes that the same apple did during our grandparents' age. Yes? And this has so much to do with this is everything, guys. Let's see here. Printer Bear says, the Maasai are all raw meats, raw milk, raw honey. Absolutely, man. And see, that's the human can do that. And the African, I mean, in the Maasai culture would be closer to how humans originally sort of, if you believe the sort of mainstream, okay, we evolved or whatever evolved. I like the word adapted, or we adapted, because evolved makes it seem like we are greater than our ancestors, and in no way is that true. It's actually sort of the opposite. But we have changed from our original beginnings, like in Africa, that sort of thing. And then we stemmed out and adapted from there. But if you believe into that, then the African tribes would be very much closer to how the human being would be meant to eat. Yes. So Matthias says, I went to Norway last winter. It would be difficult to be vegan in the north. Adding animal fat and protein to the diet just helps with keeping the body warm, even if you haven't eaten for a while. Absolutely it does. And the thing is that a lot of us have to remember is that for so long, I mean a really long time, there was no refrigerators and there was no preservatives and there wasn't even canning or anything like that. And so you had to eat what was available when it was available. And that meant that fruits, and this is eating with the seasons, this is really the ideal way in my mind and in my experience, is to eat whatever is fresh, local, in season, as it's fresh in season. And so, like in California, we had a number of different fruit trees. I don't even know what kind of fruits these were, like plums and apricot kind of things and different variants of all of this. It was a 220-acre ranch that had been in the family since the early 1800s. It was just incredible. And there was chestnuts everywhere. There were so many fruit trees that were decades old. And so when one would come into bloom, there would just be thousands and thousands of these peaches or these plums or these apricots or cherries and all that on these trees, but they would all come in at different times, and so we would gorge ourselves on the cherries until, I mean, you're seeping it out of your blood, and every other way, and then we would gorge ourselves on the apricots when they came in, and then when the cabbages came in, which would be more in the fall and winter time in that area, we would gorge ourselves on the brassicas and those kind of things because they couldn't grow over the summertime, and then when the fall came, there's the storage crops, the winter squash that last all winter. There's the potatoes that stay good all winter without modern means of refrigeration or anything like that. So we would eat those. But the animals were always available. Animals are always available because they keep themselves fresh. You know what I mean? They keep themselves fresh until the time comes when you need to harvest them. And so that is eating with the seasons. It's only in this modern world that we have the capability to be having mangoes in Indiana from Guatemala in December. And all of this stuff, just thousands of miles, from where they were grown. And the human body never evolved like this, So we have the capability to eat with the seasons, gorge yourself on whatever is available and fresh at that time, and your body can store this stuff for a long time. You don't need every vitamin on the spectrum every day. That's been bred into the mind from the vitamin supplement companies, definitely. The human can store a lot of this stuff, of course, for times when it's not available. So don't be afraid to eat like that, my friends. Nick Jones says, most fruits and vegetables in their current form didn't exist more than 10,000 years ago. That is correct. Yes, that is correct. Humans have molded and changed different things. Yes, that is absolutely right. Most of the, all of the brassicas, the cabbages, the Brussels sprouts, and kale, all of that kind of stuff, all evolved selectively from humans, has been selectively bred from the wild mustard. That stuff that you see growing just with the yellow flowers, that's pretty much the ancient ancestor of all of our modern brassicas. PA says, Sadhguru, quote, "You want to eat dead food and feel alive. This is hard because now you have to raise the dead." Yes, that sounds exactly like something he would say. So it's very true as well. You want to eat dead foods and feel alive. There's just no way. And until I fully accepted this, then I couldn't make real lasting changes in my life. I couldn't say, okay, it comes down, it cannot be overstated. Your experience is what you consume, is based upon what you consume. And I've said this before, I always will say it. What you consume physically also what you consume emotionally and spiritually and information wise. So it's so important to have all of those avenues as clean and bursting with life as possible. But for most people, they don't even understand that these heightened states of awareness or that this clarity of thought is even possible, because they've become so accustomed to just feeling okay, just, yeah, okay. They feel a little bit happy sometimes when they get a new thing, or maybe when they're watching a new season of a show comes on, and oh, okay, they're anesthetized for a while longer, or they can get a new car, something like that. They're accustomed to feeling sort of mildly happy, but there's always like a background sort of unease, and they don't even understand that, like, what they would consider almost euphoric levels of awareness and energy and love and connectedness. All of that is completely possible to feel. So for them, I say just start immediately with literally what you're putting in your body. You have to clean up the food that you're putting into your body. You can't just keep eating the garbage. Let's see. Nick Jones says a Brussels sprout contains 136 known carcinogens. Well, I don't know about that. I mean, I'm not saying that's not true. How do you know about that? Did you do the test? So that is maybe. I mean, a carcinogen is anything that can cause cancer, I suppose. And that is, I don't know about that. Not saying it's true or untrue, but there is no, in my experience, there is no, people are trying to demonize vegetables, as far as like Paul Saladino, the carnivore MD. I've listened to him for many years. I understand his program and stuff like that. Also, I don't even know if I should reference the Liver King, but yes, these kind of people are talking about, the oxalates and the anti-nutrients and the plant defense chemicals and all of this, that we're not supposed to eat plants and all of this, where, okay, I feel that it's more important to them to further their point than it is to say, okay, we're not supposed to eat plants. That just doesn't make any sense to me. It's not congruent with my life experience. That's not congruent with my reasoning. That's not congruent with anything based upon from here. So I don't subscribe to the thought that plants are toxic in any way to us. Graham, so what's up, my friend? He says, hi, Nate. We need over 2,000 milligram of vitamin C a day. The government health experts recommend about 50 milligram, just enough to keep you alive. Well, wouldn't that be the whole point? Just enough to keep you alive and working and consuming. That's fine. Let's just keep the little battery, the little human battery. Let's just keep it working and consuming and doing its thing for us. Yes? Wouldn't that make sense? Let's see here. What else are you guys talking about? So, Nick Jones says, mint top, we say we can eat vegetables, but they are optimal for plant. Not sure what you're saying there, my friend. He says, also the Inuit, the Hadza, and North American Indians, we survived the Ice Age by eating meat. Yes, definitely. There is no doubt that meat is on the menu. Val says, any advice for one who wants to be motivated but isn't, except for the garden? Yes, my friend. Let me, okay, a couple of quotes that helped me so many years ago. So one of them is, done is better than perfect. So many people feel demotivated because they think that they will not be able to do something properly, or they'll not be able to do it all the way, so what's the point? Or that they won't be able to, it'll take so long, or it'll just be such an effort. Guys, just get stuff done. Done is better than perfect. You understand what I mean by that? I don't mean that you shouldn't strive for perfection. This is different. This is saying that, okay, so many people can get so hung up on every little detail of something that they just don't do anything, or they never complete anything. So this is saying that, look, just get it done, and then you can learn from there. And so you will get better with the time. And I use that quote all the time, like in my own mind, or I used to a lot more than I do now, because now it's just become my default pattern. Because remember, you become really good at whatever you practice. You become good at whatever you practice. You become really good at whatever you practice a lot. And here, by practice, I just mean what you consistently do. That's practice. And so if you practice feeling overwhelmed, if you practice giving in to that feeling overwhelmed, then what's the point? Or just, oh, I'll just watch another episode of something, or I'll just have a beer, or I'll just do something else. If you practice that, that's what you'll become good at. Not saying that you are, Val, but I'm just saying that in general, if you practice that, you'll become good at it. Likewise, if you practice just not thinking about it so much, just stop thinking about it so much and just do the thing. Just do the thing. And let's see here. I think that there is another quote I wanted to show you. Well, the other quote is, begin doing the thing to have energy to do the thing. That's the quote. And it is from, what's the motivational guy who just passed? Bob Proctor. That's right. Bob Proctor, many years ago, was very inspirational to me when I was sort of coming out of my fog and coming into the new life, into the new world and all of this. Bob Proctor was very motivational. And I remember him saying, just start doing the thing in order to have energy to do the thing. Now that sounds kind of ridiculous, but it's so true. Just stop thinking about it so much. Just do it. Here's another quote from Jim Kwik, the mind expert who I learned to speed read from and learned many other things from. Jim Kwik, with a K, Kwik. He says, when the body moves, the brain grooves. And this is so true. Just get up, start doing it. And no, you're not going to feel like doing it and all of that. What's the point? I got something else I can do. Stop thinking about it. As you do it, the muscles and the body, that's how the human is designed. You will see. The human is designed to be doing stuff all the time. We've got these magnificent fingers that are capable of the finest dexterity, but also of wielding a hammer and building something. But we can do the finest little things with our hands, and we can walk upright so that our hands are free. And we have a massive brain, or especially I have a massive head like me. Which is mostly skull, I think. But so we can think clearly and we can do things with our hands, and we are designed, the body is designed. So birds are designed to fly. Fish are designed to swim. Orangutans are designed to be in the trees and climb all over the place. The human is designed to walk long distances with things in their hands, weapons or tools or whatever like that, and to be able to have hands free. But the human is definitely designed to walk. And so all of these kind of things indicate to us that movement is the default state, is the ideal state for the human. And so once you start doing it, the body releases chemicals and stuff like that. It releases chemicals, the oxytocin, the dopamine and the epinephrine, the norepinephrine, all of these, the serotonin, all these feel-good chemicals and things are released by the movement because evolutionary results have given to us, okay, when you're moving, when you're producing something, when you're doing something, then we want you to keep doing that for the betterment of the species, in an evolutionary sense. And so that is what we're designed to do, my friend. So that's how you begin having motivation, is you just, from the very beginning, from this moment, you just put it out of your mind. Any other questions? You just stop thinking about it. That's the main thing. It doesn't need to be thought about. Just start doing something small. Val says, wow, you nailed what slows or stops me from moving forward. Very good advice. Thank you so much. Yes, you're very welcome, my friend. Is it this one? Is it the done is better than perfect? Because that is huge. I mean, that is huge. And once you just start realizing, okay, look, let's just get it done, okay? And then it feels good because it's like, check, done. And then a small release of dopamine, serotonin comes from that. A natural release. We're not talking about release from a drinking or drugs or something. We're talking a real natural release. And these are good things to embrace because it feels good to get things done. It feels good to be useful. It feels good to have communion with things, spaces, and people. All of that feels really good. And so don't be afraid. Yes, Val says yes. It's the done and just get up and do something. Absolutely. When the body moves, the brain grooves, my friend, for sure. I mean, all morning I was out there in the garden doing all kinds of things, came in here to have an awesome conversation with you guys. As soon as I'm done, I'm going to immediately go back out into the garden and begin working again. So let's see here. Oh, Mom Computer's here. Hello, my friend. Says Val, not motivated? Question mark. Read the 10-second theory or something like that. Do anything for 10 seconds and you'll find you continue on with whatever it is. Also, I make a list of even small projects. Crossing off the list is a motivator. You feel you've accomplished something. It wasn't so difficult, so you can do one more, one more, one more. Yes, that is very sound advice, of course. That is absolutely. And perfectly in line with what I was talking about just a moment ago of how you just begin doing the thing and you'll have the energy to do the thing because of the chemicals that get released, and that's how we're hardwired to do it. So also, yes, the list. Guys, the list can be huge. I mean, the list is a wonderful thing. All these, I mean, look, I'm a list person as well. Look, all these things written back here are ideas. Every one of these are ideas. And this is a storyline to the book that I'm writing, the different layers upon layers of the 10 years of experience and all of this, the plot and all of that. You know, even though I lived it, I still have to map it out and stuff. And then I am all about lists. Look, and I hung this foam board up all around the, this is my office, my studio. So I hung this foam board. It's just insulation, like 2-inch foam, hung it all the way around the room. And I use it like a tack board. And it sound deadens the room, which is great. But see, I do lists. I just hang stuff like this. Look, this is all the videos from my Garden Like a Viking channel. I'm just like, boom, and then see which one I want to make. And then these are ideas for shorts and all that stuff. They don't have to be complicated. Just do it. But I'm the kind of person that needs to see it all laid out. I can't have this in a filing cabinet. I can't have anything in a filing cabinet because it just doesn't make sense to me. I have to have it all laid out like this so that I can see it. And then it all makes sense. Then I can see it and I can manipulate things and I can do things. But if it's in like a filing cabinet or if it's on a file on a computer, forget about it. It's just, it doesn't exist to me. So then I just hang these things on the wall. And that has been just wonderful for me, you know. 4 Points Homestead says, thanks, brother, for sharing your experience and wisdom. You are very welcome, my friend. I'm glad that you are here. Let's see. Graham says, the thought of failure is what stops people. Fear, guilt, and shame again. The man that never made a mistake never made anything. This is a very good quote, my friend. Definitely. But on the other side of that as well, I could say, and this is just word salad, but I would say that the person who learns from their mistakes never made a mistake, because learning is everything. Learning is everything. And so expanding and growing and experiencing. And so when and this goes back to the thing about regrets as well, what we started at the very beginning of the talk, how to not have any regrets is by seeing that you never made a mistake because you learned from these things. And that is the real gift, and the real wisdom comes from that. And so when you learn from them and you adjust the trajectory of your life and you adjust your sales, then there really are no mistakes because you've gained invaluable insight and wisdom from this. That's one way you can view it. Or you can just say, oh no, there's definitely mistakes and I've made so many mistakes. You know, well, okay, you can live that way as well. If you want to be burdened with all the baggage, the regrets that you have about the past and all these, which are just concepts. There's just concepts. And so you can also choose to just poof, let go of all of it. Just that whole big bag of regrets and the past that you've been carrying around for so long and thinking maybe you're going to use it again in some way. No, you're not. You can't because the past isn't real anymore. And so you can just boom, let go of it. And suddenly you feel weightless in the present moment. And Marcel, what's up, my friend? Says, how long has the live stream been going? I'm late. Yes, we start at noon. We start at noon. It's the same time as the other one. But glad to see you here, my friend from South Africa. Pam says, actions speak louder than words. Absolutely, my friend. That is true on so many levels because the actions express priority. Remember that. Action expresses priorities, not words. Words are very easy, and words come from people's conscious mind a lot of times, which is the thinking mind. But actions come from the subconscious mind. And so that can show to you what the person's actual priorities are. And let's see here. Let's say PA says, what are you guys talking about here? Okay, no substance. Yeah. Very good advice. Lynn Fairweather says, hey, finish a 10-day cleanse. Day 5, I started doing shots of the lemon and maple syrup and chasing with 8 ounces of water. Thoughts? Okay, if you needed to, if that's what you wanted to do, I would recommend to just do it the way that it's been done, you know. But I mean, if you're just taking the shot of lemon juice and a maple syrup, then chasing it all with the same amount of water, so long as it's all the exact same ingredients getting into the system at pretty much the same time, then that would be fine. But if you're like going to have a couple shots of maple syrup and then go do something, then sometime take a shot of lemon juice or something, no, that's not going to work. But yeah, I don't see why that wouldn't be terrible. PA says, Nate, did you watch the docu about Victor Schauberger, Comprehend and Copy Nature? I've put the link in last week's comment section after the live. I didn't see it. I did not see that as a link. But please do that again, because I didn't watch that. No, it's been crazy, you know, kind of busy. But I would definitely watch that. If you can put it in there, I will watch it. You know, I'll watch it tonight. So if you give me the link, I give you my word, I'll watch it tonight. Nancy, hello, my friend, says blessings from Chattanooga. Any thoughts on products that sell humic acid manufactured in a lab from ancient soil for human consumption? Let us keep. Well, I think that's a relevant question. I was just gonna say let us keep the gardening questions to the gardening channel, but this is pretty relevant. Okay, any thoughts on products that sell humic acid manufactured in a lab from ancient soil for human consumption? What kind of product would you be talking about? Because really, in a commercial sense, all humic acid is basically it's going to come from like a leonardite, which is basically slate. It's basically slate. So it's like slate, and it's like a type of stone. It's like a type of not really. It's not coal yet. It's one of those type of products it's like a coal in a way, or like a slate that has been developed over millions of years. And so I don't see anything wrong with taking it. But you're saying any that have been manufactured in a lab, okay. But if it's been manufactured in a lab, then no. It's going to be something that is totally, you know, whacked out. It's going to be the human, the mind of man, who thinks that he can improve on the natural system of things, but cannot. So I don't know if humic acids will work in the same way for us internally as they do for the plants and the soil. So I'll have to do a little research into that. I'll be able to tell quickly if it makes sense. But no, send me a link to like the product you're talking about or something like that, because I would like to look into that, definitely. And let's see here. Okay, so we got... Okay, let's see. PA says, it's the second link in last week's, but someone told me a while back that my comment wasn't visible on her channel. I'll drop the link again after this live. Okay, do that. Thank you, because I don't remember seeing it. And, okay, Nancy says, supposed to be for gut health. Yeah, send me, email me or something, or in whatever way, a link to that product, because I'll have to look at it to see exactly what you're talking about. Graham says, it's so worth watching. It's from Atlantis Times. Okay, so you're talking about that documentary? Okay. Give it to me. I'll watch it tonight. Let's see here. Rachel says, love that about action expresses priorities. Yes, absolutely. It certainly does. And this is so, and you learn this, of course. I'm sure a lot of you have already got this over time. But you can learn that from observing people. That's why once I really understood how the subconscious mind works and what it is and the unimaginable power of this and how it dictates your life, 95% of your life is dictated by the subconscious mind. Subconscious meaning outside of the realm of your commentator in the head. Yes, you have the commentator in the head that is saying, oh, I like this, I don't like that, I'm hot, I'm cold, oh, why is she wearing that, I can't believe that, you know, oh, I don't like this kind of food, oh, how am I going to tell this person that I want to go home, but they just keep talking, you know, that kind of thing in the mind. That is the conscious mind, you know, that dissects and analyzes and all of that. But and it's like a problem-solving mind. It has its purpose, but it actually doesn't dictate your desires and your thoughts and the feeling and all of this. All of that comes from the subconscious. Your belief system, your perceptions of the world, all of that comes from the subconscious mind. And once you really realize this, meaning I don't mean once you comprehend it intellectually, I mean once it becomes a reality for you, realize, then you see everywhere that people are totally unaware of what is happening in their subconscious mind and what rules their life. Especially with self-defeating behaviors or people that are unable to change things about themselves because they don't know how to go to the root of the subconscious and change the default pattern, to change the default setting. But once you discover this in yourself, it has to first be discovered in yourself. I know, even though it's so much easier to see it in other people, it's way easier to see it in other people. But you have to experience it in yourself. And then you have to say, okay, this is how it works. Then you will see other people and they'll be talking to you about certain things and all these things they want to do and these changes they're going to make and what kind of person they are. But then you just observe their life and you say, okay, but that's not true. You're not that kind of person. And obviously you don't actually want that kind of change in your life because it's not happening. And here I can see crystal clear because I can speak the language of the subconscious now. And so I can see, okay, even though you have these desires and all of this, you think that you have this plan for your life, but none of it's happening, is because you haven't changed the subconscious pattern or the beliefs. And the subconscious belief so many times is that I am unworthy. I am unworthy. And I am either unworthy of love, unworthy of affection, so many things. But the subconscious belief pattern, or the fact that, well, we could go down that rabbit hole for a long time. But the point is that they haven't changed the default pattern. And so, yes, you have to begin first by seeing it in yourself, and then you can see it everywhere. And yeah, my mom's trying to text me again. Doesn't she always do this during every live stream or something like that? She wants to text me or call me or something like that. Okay, let's see here. Rachel says, loved all of Victor Schauberger's books. Amazing man. The documentary is on my view list too. Okay, so we got a lot of people that are aware of this, and that's definitely what so I like to see that because then I'm going to watch it and intently. Let's see. Graham says, they call our energy that distracts us louche. It's an anagram for school. Okay. Who's they? Lynn Fairweather says, yes, water followed the shot. I had a hard time getting the concoction down. I've tried the cleanse multiple times, and for me, this way got me through the full 10 days. Okay, cool. So then if it got you through the 10 days, but of course you were taking the cayenne as well, as Ursula said a moment ago. Also the cayenne, right? When do you take the cayenne? Because that is very important. So we need that. Let's see here. Marcel says she's a bit better now. Home at least. I think thank the universe. If I had to lose a parent, I'd rather the universe take my dad. You know, that's true for so many of us. Because the mother is the mother. Not that I don't love my dad, but my mother has been my anchor my whole existence. I understand exactly what you mean. It's not that we don't love our father. It's just that if you had to choose, I mean, anything but the mother. You know, let's see. Blue Wolf says, everything in this world is neutral. We humans give experience a positive or negative value. That is absolutely true, my friend. The sum total of all things is zero. And this is the truth. This is the only way. And it all comes from the void. And it all returns to the void. The sum total of all things is zero. Perfectly neutral. Nothing is for you or against you. Nothing is. You cannot gain anything, you cannot lose anything. This is the ultimate truth. But a person can't be told something like this and experience it. They have to be led there they have to be led there by the universe itself until they experience the nothingness of all things. And only then do they free themselves of all of the mind-made the illusions. The human mind is a meaning manufacturing machine. That is what the human mind does, is it takes the reality of what is, which is always perfectly neutral, perfectly at peace, perfectly perfect. And it takes that, and the human mind infuses meaning into it and says, oh, this is the meaning. Well, why did this happen to me? Well, because this. And so they infuse a bunch of meaning into all of this because they think that it relates to them in some way. And so this is really the crux of it. But that is that is just, unless people have tasted something like that, they have no concept of what that means, because to them, how can you function in a world without meaning? And I know it seems paradoxical, and it is, but only when you free yourself of the entire concept of meaning or purpose of any kind does everything begin to make sense and become crystal clear, and you see freedom everywhere. Rachel says, I don't think your dad will be sending you $10 for this live, Nate. Yeah, probably not, but who's going to disagree? I mean, for the most part, about that statement. Come on. I mean, even he would do the same, for sure. Let's see here. And, okay, sitting here eating homebred grown geese. Ooh, nice. You're eating geese? You raise them at home? That is nice. Nick says, a piece of ribeye literally has everything contained within it that your body needs. This is possibly true, definitely, yes, for the most part. But I can tell that you've got the argument that, or you're of the opinion that the human, I don't know if you're of the opinion that the human is supposed to eat only meat or that it can eat only meat, because they're two different things. One is more factual than the other. The other is a opinion statement, But okay, guys, if you guys have any burning questions, let us get them in, because we'll try to keep these ones to about an hour, because I got so much work to do in the garden. Ms. T, hello, my friend. Glad you could make it. Says, I am so upset I missed the live stream. Greetings. I send high vibrations and strong positive energy to you all. Peace and blessings. Yes, thank you, Ms. T. She is always sending the high vibrational energy, my friends, and that is what it is all about. Why not? Why be anything other than that? Donna, hello, my friend, says, I was in the garden. It just dawned on me I was missing the talk. Yes, next time, every Monday at 12 noon. I know it's kind of hard to remember this one, but I think this is a good time for us. So I'm going to, maybe I'll try and I'll do the schedule it a little bit sooner, because I don't even schedule them lately for this one. So I'll schedule it starting like Sunday night, and then it will like show up for you guys to, but hit the bell notification, of course, then you'll be notified immediately. Okay, Ehab says, we all have a purpose for being here. We are here to learn about life as a human in the physical realm, so that we learn from the experience. We don't do that, we just come back to try again. Yes, okay. So I very much understand. That. But also understand that is the human mind implying or infusing the circle of life and the reality of what is. That is the mind infusing the meaning into it. So that's perfectly fine, perfectly acceptable. If that is the belief that we are here for a purpose, okay, perfectly fine. But the reality, or not reality, but the sum total of all things is zero. And so we can imply whatever meaning that we want to into that. Let's see here. Nick says, I would say human diet should mostly be meat. Ancient humans would have eaten plants as a starvation food when the hunt failed. Yeah, possibly. We don't really know. We can theorize, though. Successful Garden Design got a dash. Online class starts now. Many thanks, Nate, and everyone bringing lovely energy to the live. Yes, Rachel, thank you very much. We're pretty much done here. Nick says, don't forget collecting plants would have been very labor intensive for little nutritional reward. Yes, absolutely. But we just don't really know for sure, do we? I mean, the animals definitely, but like I've said at the very beginning and said exhaustively, the human is a marvel of adaptation. The number one thing is that it's close to its natural state as possible. This is important. And let's see, Mom Computer says, without learning, there is no growth. Our lessons allow us to move to the next level. Yes, absolutely, my friend. Matias says, plants and tubers don't walk away. Yes, this is true as well. Pam says, thank you, Nate. Bless all of you. I get notifications. Yay. All right. Okay, my friends. So I will see you next time. Every 12 noon on Mondays, we will be doing this here. Every 12 noon on Saturdays, we do it on the Garden Like a Viking channel. And you guys can ask all kinds of questions. I'm all about it. Ehab, one last thing. He says, yes, and most just don't learn from their experience and keep repeating the same mistakes. Absolutely, my friend. Absolutely. That is because they have not changed the subconscious belief pattern. They haven't learned the language of the subconscious. And so before next time, guys, it would be really good. Like 2 years ago, I made a couple videos on this channel. I made like 5 or 10 videos about the nature of reality. And they're just like 5 minutes long. And I use some stock footage and some of my own footage. But go back and watch those and just see what you think. And then we can talk about them next time. Leave a comment on those videos and just see, what you think about that. Okay? So, all right, my friends, thank you very much for spending this time. See you next time.